It is mailbag time, faithful, and with Trevon Diggs now officially in the building and training camp 2 weeks deep, you all had a lot on your minds. Let's get straight into your questions and break down everything worth knowing heading into the rest of this summer. First up, if Jayden Daniels stays healthy this season, does he win MVP? My honest answer here is no, though I want to be clear that is not a knock on his talent. Daniels is genuinely capable of playing at that level, but he is being asked to do something this season he has never really done before at any level, transitioning into a real under-center pro-style offense after building his entire career. From high school through college and into his rookie season here in Washington, around shotgun-heavy, spread concepts that lean on his elite ability to create with his legs. That kind of stylistic shift takes real time to fully develop, even for a supremely talented quarterback. My honest expectation is that Daniels experiences some genuine growing pains adjusting to this new system in the first half of the season, which could realistically take him out of the true MVP conversation early on. But my real hope, and I think this is realistic, is that he is playing his absolute best football by the back half of the season. Exactly when this team needs him locked in for a real playoff push. That is what actually matters here. Not necessarily an individual award, but Daniels playing his best football at the moment this team needs it most. The same way he delivered 2 playoff wins just a couple seasons ago. Next question. Now that Diggs is officially signed, with a healthy Terry McLaurin and a healthy Jayden Daniels, how many wins do you see this team getting? Double-digit wins is genuinely within the range of realistic outcomes here, but there remain real, legitimate question marks worth acknowledging. Both coordinators on this roster are first-time NFL play callers running brand-new schemes. Daniels himself is adjusting to a completely new offensive style. And while this defense clearly got more talented on paper, it remains to be seen whether new coordinator Durante Jones can elevate this specific roster the same way he helped elevate Minnesota's defense during his time there. If everything genuinely breaks right, 11-6, even 12-5 like this exact quarterback and coaching staff already accomplished 2 seasons ago, is absolutely within reach. This is genuinely the most talented overall roster of the entire Dan Quinn and Jayden Daniels era. But given how much is new and unproven here, the realistic floor for this team is also lower than that ceiling might suggest, the same way things went sideways in a hurry last season. If I had to lock in one number right now, I would say 10-6 with a wild card berth, leaning more toward that exciting ceiling than the discouraging floor. Which 2025 draft pick will have the best season for this team? My real hope here is cornerback Trey Amos. If anybody on this roster is going to establish himself as a true number 1 option in this specific defensive scheme, it is going to be him. I do not necessarily view Mike Sainristil as a true number 1 corner, even though I do expect him to bounce back and play well on the outside this year. Beyond Amos, I am genuinely hoping right tackle Josh Conerly Jr. continues building on the real progress he showed toward the end of last season. And keep an eye on running back Jakori Merritt too, someone who has looked genuinely improved in camp, particularly with his hands as a pass catcher, suggesting this offense plans to feature him more heavily out of the backfield this season. Where exactly will Trevon Diggs actually line up this year? I do not think this coaching staff intends to lock either Diggs or Terry McLaurin into one single rigid alignment on every snap. David Blau clearly wants real versatility built into this passing game, with McLaurin sometimes working outside and sometimes moving into the slot, and Diggs, who was genuinely excellent working out of the slot for New England last season, doing the exact same thing depending on the specific concept being run. Given that flexibility between your top 2 receivers, this offense's 3rd receiver spot is likely to operate more as a rotational, committee-based role, with Antonio Williams and Luke McCaffrey handling slot duties, and Treylon Burks or Dyami Brown stepping in on the outside depending on what a given play call demands. If I had to guess the general tendency, though, I would expect Diggs to line up primarily as a Z receiver and out of the slot, while McLaurin remains this team's clear, bona fide X receiver. Will Dyami Brown and Jalen Lane end up being the odd men out in this receiver room? Lane in particular has genuinely struggled with drops through camp. He brings real, legitimate deep speed and can get behind a defense, but those true deep shot opportunities are limited across an entire season, and you have to consistently come down with them when they arrive, especially running full speed away from coverage. Those same drop issues have also raised real questions about his reliability as a return man, an area where he already had some fumbling problems a season ago. Lane genuinely needs to clean things up if he wants to secure a real roster spot, especially with Luke McCaffrey capable of handling return duties himself while also looking considerably improved as a pure receiver. Dyami Brown, on the other hand, still looks like a real lock to make this roster, likely in more of a rotational, veteran depth role, bringing real value as somebody with genuine chemistry and playoff success already built up alongside Daniels. Will this new defense force more turnovers than it did a season ago? I certainly hope so. This defense is fundamentally designed to create mental stress for opposing quarterbacks, forcing rushed, incorrect decisions that create real interception opportunities for the defensive backs and linebackers around them. I have real, genuine belief in Durante Jones as a coordinator hire, one of my personal favorite coordinator additions anywhere in this league this offseason. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think this team finishes with more or fewer than 10 total turnovers, which is what they generated a season ago? I am personally taking the over here, given the genuinely aggressive, chaotic identity this new scheme appears to be building. Can rookie receiver Antonio Williams realistically steal Offensive Rookie of the Year? Barring a significant injury elsewhere in this receiver room, I do not think so. There is a genuinely strong rookie class around this league this year, and given that Williams currently projects into more of a rotational, committee-based role at receiver rather than a true high-volume starting job, I do not think the raw opportunity will be there for him to put up the kind of numbers that award typically requires. I still have real, long-term belief in him as a future full-time starter, likely arriving by next season, and if he genuinely balls out this year, he could realistically force his way into a clear number 3 role before the season is even over. But realistically, his chances at that specific award are quite slim this year. What should we expect out of running back Jakori Merritt this season? Real, tangible growth across the board, specifically in his vision and his ability to stop leaving yards on the table the way he sometimes did during his rookie season. If he can consistently hit the exact hole this offensive line creates for him and continue leaning on his natural explosiveness and long speed, he has real potential to become one of the more dangerous backs in this entire league. Just as importantly, the ancillary parts of his game, pass protection and reliable hands catching the football out of the backfield, were real weaknesses that occasionally took him off the field in certain situations last season. If he can genuinely tighten those areas up, he has a real path toward becoming this offense's true every down back. Should this front office sign cornerback Trevon Diggs to pair him up alongside his brother? I know Trevon actually reached out to Dan Quinn directly once Washington officially signed Stephon, and given his history playing under Quinn's defense back in Dallas, where he genuinely had the best years of his career, that connection makes total sense. But this year's defensive scheme under Durante Jones is built very differently from the man-heavy, deep, safety-help-oriented system Trevon thrived in during his time in Dallas. This new system leans heavily on match coverage principles, asking outside cornerbacks to consistently win true one-on-one matchups without much deep help. Trevon has had real documented struggles getting beaten on double moves in exactly that kind of system, and it genuinely does not look like this coaching staff feels he fits what they are building here. Realistically, I also like where this cornerback room already stands. Trey Amos is back at practice, Sane Rasteel continues having a strong camp, Amik Robertson has looked genuinely solid as well, and Rasul Douglas has been playing well throughout this entire camp too. There may not be one clear, true number one corner in that room yet, but I do not think Trevon would actually be providing that either. Personally, I am saying no on this one, barring some kind of unexpected injury opening up a real, legitimate opportunity somewhere down the line. So that wraps up today's mailbag. Faithful, real optimism about this offense's overall ceiling. Real patience needed for Jayden Daniels adjusting to a brand new system. And a cornerback room that this front office appears genuinely comfortable running back as currently constructed. Let me know down in the comments whether you think this defense finishes with more or fewer than 10 turnovers this season, and drop any questions you want answered in a future mailbag. Thank you all so much for submitting your questions this week. If you want to join the most interactive Commanders fan community anywhere on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you never miss one of our mailbags, live shows, or watch parties throughout the rest of this season.